Hello and welcome to today's NerdGeek podcast. Today we are discussing the newly released Lego Batman movie and what I think of it. So, if you haven't seen the trailer for the Lego Batman movie, look at it. It is really funny. It's really good. So, before you see the movie, look at the trailer because it will make you want to see the movie more. It's a really good trailer. I believe there are two of them. But today, we aren't discussing the trailer. We are discussing the film. Now, I saw the film yesterday evening, and it was a really good movie. But Warner Bros. And not just Warner Bros., but it's when Warner Bros. Make a DC movie, they have this thing where they make a fantastic trailer that hypes you up for the movie so much that when the actual movie comes out, you're disappointed because the movie isn't as good as what you thought it was going to be from the trailer. Now, we have seen this before from Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad, but what I liked about this movie was most of it. What I didn't like is, once again, Warner Bros. Were like, okay, we're going to make the best trailer, but we're not going to make the movie as good, and we're not going to live up to the hype, which is annoying. But moving on from that, the positives. It is a really, really funny movie. It's so good. Most things are good about it. You have to be a certain age. I went to see it with my friend who just generally likes movies, me who's a big nerd, and my friend who had nothing better to do, but he absolutely hates everything to do with children, so he hated the movie. My other friend thought it was alright, and I thought it was pretty good. There's definitely room for improvement, but overall, I would give it a 7 out of 10 probably, because it's full of really good references to previous Batman things. The thing I got a little bit salty about is because I'm a huge Marvel fan, is basically Batman has a password to get into the Batcave, and it's Iron Man sucks, which, as an Avengers Marvel nerd, I was a little bit salty about, but I just got on with the movie. It was a struggle in my viewing, but I got through it. Go me. But yeah, it was a really good movie. I expected it to be the best Batman movie I've ever seen, which it kind of was. And I know it's a Lego movie, but I would have liked it if there was a little bit more action, because they kind of focused on the morale of the story. Maybe a little bit too much, and at times the humour was a little bit childish, and they were trying too hard to make it funny. And also, I expected it to be better than the Lego movie. It wasn't. Just putting it out there, it's not as good as the Lego movie, but it is still a really good movie. Would I say I regret watching it? No. Would I recommend someone to watch it? Yes, probably, but I wouldn't tell everyone to watch it because it isn't a movie for everyone. But overall, I did think it was a pretty good movie. Now, let's start off with how the movie starts. By the way, this will contain spoilers, so you might want to watch the movie first in your local cinema rather than listen to me tell you. Or you can go in there knowing everything. It's up to you. The story starts off with the Joker. Actually, no, let's start from the beginning of the movie. You know when it has all the dramatic credits at the beginning, where it's like Warner Bros. And DC and, stuff like that. So in a Marvel movie, it's Marvel. In a Universal movie, it has Universal. Paramount, it has Paramount. I think I'm saying Paramount right. I'm weird. I'm not good at pronouncing things. Anyway, yeah, so Batman's basically voicing over that, saying, Warner Bros. And it's that bit's funny. And then we get into the movie, and the Joker has assembled basically every DC person you can think of. And there was an adult joke. I believe the character's name was Condom Man. And I think it was Condom Man. I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely sounded like Condom Man, which at first was okay, but then you kind of see the funny side of it because he's squirting tomato ketchup and mustard, which at the same time is really disturbing, but I see the funny side of it. And then basically the Joker's going to kill the city, and Batman's like, no, I'm Batman, I'm gonna kill you. well, he's not going to kill you, but he's going to send him to Arkham or whatever. And the Joker and Batman have this thing ever since they were created in the 1940s or 30s. Don't get mad at me if I got that wrong. But they've had this thing where the Joker is Batman's worst enemy, but the Batman's like, I don't need anyone. I'm Batman. You're not my worst enemy. You're just another enemy, and that really upsets the Joker, which is funny because he you know, all the Joker wants is to be Batman's worst enemy, but to Batman, he's just another enemy, which upsets him. So the Joker escapes. The city doesn't get blown up by Joker's bomb, but it foreshadows something that happens at the very end of the movie, where basically the bomb goes off. And yeah, anyway, we'll talk about that again later. And then we see Batman back at his house, and we see the Joker with the bad guys in his secret hideout watching the TV, and he sees Superman has sent one of his enemies to the Phantom Zone. Then he has an idea, and this idea is to get him into the Phantom Zone, and we aren't told the full story of his idea yet, but when we get into the Phantom Zone, we're told that all these characters that are in there, which are pretty funny. There's Godzilla, there's King Kong, there's Sauron, but they pronounce it differently. It's Sauron, and they pronounce it like Sauron, and I got a little bit salty about that. But anyway, there was also the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, which I found really funny. There was Voldemort, and there was a bunch of like wizard jokes, like Batgirl at the end of the movie when something along the lines of Wingardium shut up or something, which, you know, the humorous side. But if you're a full-on nerd, when they make childish jokes about stuff, then you're like, dude, it's not that, it's this. And that can trigger me sometimes. But if you see the funny side of it, it's pretty cool. And those were the majority of the bad guys that were really famous. I think there were gremlins. I'm not sure if they were gremlins because they're Lego, so it was kind of hard to tell. But basically every bad guy you could think of other than Marvel bad guys, and bad guys that had already been in Joker's hideout were there from like famous movies, which is pretty cool. And after this, basically Joker goes into Arkham at this ceremony because Commissioner Gordon is retiring, and his daughter, Commissioner Gordon, I know it's confusing, has this plan to work with Batman, and basically the Joker invades this, and he arrests himself and all of his other bad guys, and they all go to Arkham. But then he knows Batman will want him to go to the Phantom Zone, so Batman, at the ceremony, this is an important part. At the ceremony, he is like, there's a scene which is at first funny, and then it just goes on for like 2 minutes, and it gets really cringy, which some of the jokes, this is one of the reasons why the movie's not as good as I expected it to be. They drag out the funny parts, and it makes it cringy, which is not good. You do not want to be in the cinema just cringing. You want to be there laughing. So, basically, he's talking to this orphan child, Richard, or Dick, as everyone calls him, because, you know, people are nice nowadays. And basically, he just kept on, yep, definitely. You know when, like, your mum's talking to you, and you do not want, like, her to exist in this moment. You just want to watch YouTube, or you just want to do whatever you're doing. And she's talking to you, and you're like, oh my god, shut up. This is basically what Batman is doing to Dick. And he's just like, yep, definitely. So Dick asked him if he would adopt him, and Batman said yes when he wasn't listening. So then Alfred adopts him for Bruce, because obviously Bruce wouldn't do it. And then Batman gets the Phantom Zone laser thing from the Fortress of Solitude, which is where, if you do not know what the Fortress of Solitude is, it's a Superman thing. Basically, when he crashed on Earth in the Antarctica, that's his ship. And this is the funny part. Robin gets in there and hides from a different entrance, and goes to where they have to get the laser. And Batman goes in, and there's a party for the 57th anniversary of the Justice League, and basically no one likes him, and this is where we see that Batman needs family, and no one really likes him that much. So then he diverts from the party and takes away, like, lasers to stop Robin. But let's just call him Robin, because calling him Dick is a bit mean. Robin, because Dick becomes Robin. Basically, he can get past it, he can dodge a bunch of things, and then he can get the laser, and then they both escape. So then they go to Arkham, and they send the Joker to the Phantom Zone, and then Commissioner Gordon, the new one, sends Batman and Robin to Arkham. Well, she just locks them in the cell that the Joker was in. We see the Joker in the Phantom Zone, and he explains his plan, and they're like, yep, cool, you're not a proper bad guy, we don't like you. And then he tells them the plan, and then they like him because they like the idea of getting out of the Phantom Zone. And then we see Harley Quinn dressed up. She's the only one that did not get arrested, by the way. She's dressed up as a employee at Arkham, and she basically steals the Phantom thing that's been confiscated from Batman, and releases all of the inmates. So then all of the evil guys are over Gotham, and, you know, as you can imagine, that's not going to end well. What then Commissioner Gordon is forced to do is release Batman, but Batman refuses to work with any of the other prisoners, because she basically wants to do Suicide Squad. And then it's funny because Batman says, what, work with the bad guys to defeat the bad guys? It's such a stupid idea. And that's the funny part, because apparently Suicide Squad was a really bad movie, and I haven't actually seen it, but the trailers look sick. But I can understand that the movie probably wasn't, because it's a DC movie. I don't mean to trigger people, but most of them aren't that good. I mean, some people say the Dark Knight movies are good. I'm like, they're good, they have action, but honestly, I haven't watched all of them, and I haven't really concentrated when I'm watching them. But if the movie doesn't make you concentrate, then that doesn't make it a good movie, doesn't it? Anyway, I need to stop ranting about how much I don't like DC sometimes. I like DC, okay? I just don't like Batman and Superman. Just get it out of the way. Soz. So yeah, back to Lego Batman. The Lego Batman refuses to work with Suicide Squad, refuses to work with the Gotham Police Department. So he goes back home with Alfred, dressed up as the 1960s Batman, which is funny, and Robin and Commissioner Gordon, the new one, also teams up with them. And then Batman gets into his Batmobile that can also turn into a bat flying thing, and they defeat Sauron by going straight at it, getting Godzilla behind them, and then, you know, Godzilla's fireball thing, they do that, and then at the very last moment they dodge out of the way, so it hits Sauron's eye, and Sauron's dead. And then Godzilla, the funny part is in the animation, is like, I'm sure this is a reference to something, but it's basically when they're like, okay, is anyone looking? Nope. Does anyone know it was me? Nope. So they just, like, slowly walk away, or in Godzilla's case, swim away under the bridge, and then Sauron is defeated. And in the meantime, while this has been going on, the Joker has taken away an island, and he's renamed it the Joker Island. And there was a funny part of this was, Sauron told him that Batman's cave is under Bruce Wayne's island, and the Joker's like, you're telling me all this time Batman is Bruce Wayne? And then he goes, roommate, and it's like, kind of childish, but it is funny while you're watching the movie. Obviously, I'm not a voice actor. I'm a teenager, and they do this really well. And some parts are really clever. Other parts, like, really, why are you even trying? That was not good. But yeah, most of the movie is really good. Like I said, some parts are cringy, which makes it a little less entertaining, I guess. So the four of them work together to defeat some of the bad guys, and then while they do this, they basically force Batman to work together, and then he realises that this is his family, and people have to work together and stuff. But instead of doing the normal thing and working together, he locks them away in his bat thing, sends them to the edge of Gotham, and then, yeah, he gets into the Phantom Zone, because that's where the Joker sends him. And when he's in the Phantom Zone, there's this brick thing that's basically the receptionist there, and it sounds weird, but that's how it is. And what she does is she says he's not exactly he's not the typical bad guy, but he's not exactly a good guy, which is how I would describe Batman. That's pretty much what he is. So she sends him away, and he promises to get all of the bad guys back, but he has to come back as well. So basically he goes back, and the other three people, Robin, Albert, his name's Albert, isn't it? Yeah, sounds about right. And Commissioner Gordon, they pick him up, and he basically says sorry. They work together. She becomes Batgirl, Robin becomes Robin, Albert becomes old Albert Batman, and then all the prisoners that were in Arkham then work for Batman, and they have their own bat signals, which is pretty cool because animations, and they work together to defeat all of the people who were in the Phantom Zone. So they sent them to the Phantom Zone via the laser thing that they stole from the Joker, and after that, the Joker steals the bomb that he had at the beginning of the movie. What he does is he sets it off, and at the beginning of the movie they explain that under Gotham there's nothing. Like, most of the... I'm not sure if this is true in terms of comic books, but normally there's a bunch of ground underneath cities. Apparently under Gotham there's just nothing, so if it broke it would fall, everyone would die, and that's basically what happens, except they join together. They're joined together by being Legos. I don't know if you've ever had Lego, but one of the best things to do as a child is attach one of the Legos' foot to one of the other Legos' heads and just continuously do that, and that's basically what they do in the film. And then the Batman and Joker work together, and they grab each ends of Gotham that's split into two, and then all citizens of Gotham do this as well. Then they pull Gotham back together, and then Batman's like, I hate you, Joker, and then Joker's like, I hate you too, and then that's cute and stuff. And then Batman has to go back to the Phantom Zone, but the Brick's like, no, you don't have to go back because you're a good guy, you've changed. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the movie. And they all go back to, well, the Joker and all the bad guys. Batman gives them half an hour to go away as a threat. And then the four, Batgirl, Batman, Robin, and old Batman, they go back to the Batcave and they're a family. And that's basically the end of the movie, and it's pretty cool. It is a good movie. At times it's a bit cringy, but most of the time it's funny. Sometimes it's a bit too childish. And the references, let's talk about the references. Basically, there's references to Batman across the years, and when Bruce Wayne is staring at a photo of his parents, Albert explains that every time you're like that, you've gone through a weird phase, and it's basically reformed in Lego. It's from Batman vs Superman all the way back to Adam West, or the one after Adam West. There's a reenactment in Lego of Batman going through phases, and he's like back in 2016, then it's Batman vs Superman, back in 2012, 2008, 2005, then it's the Dark Knight trilogy, then all the other times, and then when it gets to the Adam West Batman, this is the funny part, it's just Adam West dancing in a Batman suit, and that was really funny. Even my friend laughed at that, who hates stuff like that. It was a funny scene, and there was a bunch of other references as well. Obviously I can't remember all of them, but it is a good movie. It's one of those movies that you watch the first time, but you wouldn't want to watch a second time. But it is a good movie, like I've said many times now. Do see it if you like Batman. If you don't like Batman, I don't like Batman. It depends. If you like the memes of Batman, like his deep voice and like memes taking the mick out of Batman, this is a good movie. If you like Batman too much, this probably isn't the best movie because it doesn't take it seriously. But if you just like Batman, don't care if the character's offending itself, then it's a really good movie. There's also a joke that he has a 9-pack. Some people have an 8-pack, but he has a 9-pack like in the middle of his 8-pack. Don't ask. He has an extra ab apparently. It's weird, but it's good. Most of the time, it's a good movie. Sometimes it's like, why is this even in the movie? But it's pretty cool. So this is where I'm going to end today's podcast. Do check the movie out. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. I'll be back tomorrow with another podcast, hopefully, if I can get it out on time. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe so you see more Nerdist podcasts. Share this video with your friends online or in real life, because despite the fact that we are nerds and geeks, sometimes we do interact with people off of Twitter and Instagram. Talking of that, make sure to check out the Twitter and Instagram accounts. That would be cool. So yeah, share this video, and I'll see you tomorrow for another NerdGeek podcast.